The Western Cape is experiencing intense icy weather this weekend, and it's been almost a year since Table Mountain has been blanketed with snow. Let's chat with Wahida Parker now. She is the Managing Director at the Table Mountain Aerial Cableway Company. A very good afternoon to you, Wahida. Thank you so much for your time. So how much snow are you guys seeing right now, if any?
This morning, when we opened our doors and our staff, the first car went up, they were welcomed by snow and just frolicking about in what had fallen overnight and what continued to fall whilst we were open. Unfortunately, it was accompanied, this is Cape Town, so it's 4 seasons in one day. A bit of rain and then a bit of sunshine, which quickly turned the blanket of snow into sludge. And so it made the mountain quite a slippery place to be. And so we'd hope that hikers especially have taken heed of this and exercised some caution whilst hiking up the mountain.
Wahida, what kind of protocol is there when something like this happens, when there's a blanketing of snow, when temperatures dip as low as they do? And of course, as you've mentioned, the 4 seasons in one day, when then all of a sudden there's rain or sunshine and people that do come to the cableway wanting to see that blanket of snow don't get to. What happens then?
So we try to keep regular updates and give people updates on our social media platforms around what is happening on the mountain. The mountain itself, if you're ascending via the cable car and you're exploring 12 Apostles Terrace or you're enjoying a cup of coffee inside our restaurant, it's quite safe. There aren't any particular safety measures that are in place other than warning people about the slipperiness that they could experience. But what we do encourage people to do is to layer their clothing, to make sure that they're able to take off some of the clothes when it becomes a little bit warmer, but largely to dress warmly and to stay warm. When the wind comes up, we have a siren that will sound to alert people that we are going to take people down, and hikers and even our visitors are able to respond to that call. So they're very aware that when that call sounds, that we'll start taking people down.
There was obviously an anticipation that this would be happening this weekend, Wahida. So have you guys seen an uptick in visitors?
Yeah, yes and no. It's bitterly cold up the mountain. And I also think that as you drive inland towards Sutherland, etc., there is huge amounts of snow that have fallen, and people may have taken the opportunity to drive inland to go and see and let children frolic in what is a winter wonderland. But I remain, I'm not an expert on climate change. As this progresses, we're seeing snow. We're going to see snow on Table Mountain, I think, as a more frequent winter occurrence. I think it will definitely change our visitor patterns. We might, in fact, see more visitors if we turn into a winter wonderland than we do at our peak period in summer.
You talk about, particularly seeing more people coming in, but I would imagine that the Cableway company would want that to happen with more people being vaccinated. What's the company's take on vaccinations? I mean, and I ask this question because obviously there's been talk throughout the week, at least, that it could be it could potentially be a matter of people being essentially encouraged a little more strongly to get their vaccinations, even those that perhaps do not want to, if they want to get into certain areas or if they want to experience certain things. So what is your guys' take on people getting vaccinated if they want to access the cableway?
So our view is absolutely that as the world is saying, if you're vaccinated, you are allowed to board a flight, you're allowed to do certain things. I think very much when it comes to tourism, and when we do open up, we're going to find that as tourism industry, we are going to probably exercise those same protocols in terms of saying, you should at least be vaccinated in order to enjoy the mountain. 53% of our staff have already been vaccinated. And we strongly encourage our visitors as there is no protocol in place now. But the protocols that can and definitely will help us is to continue wearing our masks, to continue sanitizing, and to ensure social distancing. I would be loath for us to forego those protocols, which have certainly worked for us as a country, simply because you've been vaccinated.
You're mentioning 53% of staff being vaccinated. Wahida, have you experienced any hesitancy from the people you work with?
Of course, people are hesitant. There's a lot of misinformation around vaccines. People have certain fears, and we have to engage in a consultative process with people to understand their reasons and also to do an audit of what risk they would be exposed to if they were not vaccinated.
You mentioned how important it is for the tourism industry, Wahida, for people to be vaccinated so as life could in some way go back to normal. I want to then ask you this question. How hard hit has the Cableway company been? How hard hit has just Cape Town tourism, from at least your understanding, been because of this pandemic?
So Cape Town Tourism as a body met on Thursday and Friday, and most of the major attractions have been hit. Their numbers are down to 20-25% of the pre-COVID numbers, and that is hard. Consequently, a number of operators have limited their hours, as have we. Staff had to face salary cuts, and in some instances, we were also forced to consider retrenchment. So the industry is definitely very hard hit, and a lot of us are putting our hopes on the rollout of the vaccines. We see that internationally, foreign countries will be looking to see what the percentage of vaccinated people are in our country before they start opening up travel to and from Cape Town.